Hello everyone, welcome to this new Alexa Developers EU office hours. My name is Gaetano. I'm a developer advocate lead here at Amazon Alexa, and this stream is going to be about, it's just pretty much talking about Alexa development in general. We do this every 2 Fridays, and it is happening at 10 a.m. UK time. So today we are streaming on LinkedIn as well, so it's gonna be Twitch, YouTube and Twitch. I see already some comments here in the chat, but please do let me know about the audio and video quality. So if there is an issue, I can try to address it before we start. Let me give a round of welcome here. So we have a comment from LinkedIn. Rohan, hello. Welcome to you as well. So I was saying in this session I will be answering questions about Alexa development, but today we have a special guest as well. So we will be doing a walkthrough on the Alexa Skill Flow Builder, which is a suite that lets you basically create, let's say, narrative-driven skills more quickly. And without, let's say, writing a lot of code. So let me introduce you to GoldZulu, the voice tech guy, who is a voice tech evangelist and also an AWS community builder, as well as a very known face in the Alexa community. Hello?
Hello. Hello.
Hi, GoldZulu. Welcome.
Hello, Gaetano. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How about you? What are you, showing to us today?
Yes, good. Everything's good. Yeah, thanks for having me on this European office hours. I'm glad to sort of come back again. It's probably what our second time here now.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, and I just love to share this kind of stuff, like things that I think tools that will help everybody work a little bit better and a little bit faster as well, and to let people aware for Alexa skill builders that they have options. They don't have to stick to just raw coding if they want to, and then based on the use case of what they want to try to do, they can choose the tools that they want, right? And for me, it's the same thing. Depending on which projects I'll be working on, I'll take a look at which tools is probably the best tool for me to build stuff. So yeah, so skillful builder, I think is one of the tools which I think is grossly overlooked, right? There was a point of time, I think probably 1 year, 2 years ago, where a lot of people know about it. So everybody was getting really excited about it. But then it sort of die off in the past. And then what happened was, I think some of you do not know this, probably that it was open source as well. So I mean, the source code is all out there. So the whole framework is actually out there in GitHub for you to hack it. So I think that's amazing.
Yeah, definitely. I'm one of the person that likes to write the code for everything. So I'm very glad that you want to bring this up for us today, because I'm very curious to get at the bottom of this and trying to understand how can I use it and in which use cases, etc.
Yeah.
I like to. So there are some hellos in the chat. So hello, Xavi. Xavi is a community member as well. He's been on two of my streams as well. Very welcomed as well. We have another person here, Swagui. I don't know how to pronounce this, but hello as well. Then we have Hoke2000 says hi all. Hi there. Welcome to the stream, and I hope you'll enjoy it. As I said before, we will leave some time by the end of the session to any questions you might ask, general questions, but also if you if you want us to clarify a concept that we are going to explain about the Alexa Skill Flow Builder, I'll do my best to make sure that we address it before we continue. That said, GoldZulu, if you want to go on, I can show your screen in the stream here. Just let me know when you're ready and we can start off.
Yes. Well, I'll let me just give a little bit more background,
Sure.
and then we then hit to my screen. I think my screen's a bit of a mess, but it should be okay.
No worries.
Um, so, so some of you might. So, okay. So, an example of one of the kind of popular one that's in the past that been talked about by the Amazon Alexa team actually is the skill called Starfinder. So I think it's kind of a good point I brought it up because Starfinder actually uses Skillful Builder together with Web API, which is what what we discussed. I think probably last month that I give a little bit of introduction over it. So that's why Skillful Builder sort of kind of work well together because some of people think that hey, Skillful Builder, it's kind of like a very simple tool that people use that you it's a no code tool, people just write text and it's not that powerful, but that's contrary to the belief. It's like I think this the how far you want to take skillful builder is from beginners level all the way until TypeScript hardcore coding, API calling, web API communicating kind of skill that you actually build from that. So it's very extensible. So I don't think I can cover everything in this particular session, but what I'll try to do my best is to cover right from kind of a quick overview quickly, and then go into stuff which are kind of golden nuggets that I find over the past few years about while working with Skillful Builder, and some of the stuff that might actually help you if you want to use it, can allow you to use it a bit, take it up a bit faster. So one thing that I need to point to you also is that it's a little bit harder now to get to. So maybe you can share the screen.
Yes.
A moment. I'll just put this up there. Okay. So I think I can kill this guy off. Okay. So you're seeing my screen now. Everything's good.
I can see that.
Okay.
So
Cool. So yeah.
the audience can see
So
it as well.
yeah, so I personally wrote, I think probably a couple of skills. So out there, I think the most popular one you guys probably heard is Survive the Gobi Desert. That's written in Skillful Builder. So I probably will dive a little bit into it a bit later. But
Okay.
the Skillful Builder is divided into two different kind of main components. If you want, if you know what I mean, it's so one of it is called the Skillflow Builder Editor, SFB Editor for short, and the other one is called the SFB Core, Skillful Builder Core. So the Skillful Builder Core is kind of like, think about it's like the Ask SDK, uh, and the other one, the SFB editor, is, think of it is like the console that you see on the screen. So what I'm showing you right now in front is just the SFB SFB editor, and it's just a simple Electron app actually. So it's actually web based. You dig into the source code, you can see there's actually an Electron app, which is quite interesting for you to figure it out yourself from the code how to build a Alexa building SFB Electron app. So the skillful builder editor is normally okay. Typically in kind of a let me think about it the other way. Okay, let's go through the cycle. Let's say you're building a project, right? Say, hey, I want to build a project. So one way in which you can start, there's two paths you can start with it. So one path is just go into the Skillflow Builder editor, download it. Actually, now as of just now, I think there is some issues downloading the SFB editor because I cannot get the link for SFB editor anywhere uh, on the website. So because I think the documentation now has been pushed to the GitHub repository, and there's no link and there's no daily build that constantly will be building the SFB editor binaries that you can actually download. So if you want to actually use it at the moment, right, you can ping me. I'll give you contact details later. But just for those people who are interested to get it at this present moment, if they actually want to go get it, is that you can actually go to the GitHub. So let me just pull my Chrome.
I'm showing the GitHub link here on the screen,
Yeah.
and I'll paste it in the chat as well.
Okay. So the GitHub here basically has everything you need to know. The whole Skillful Builder things actually here, right? Including the SFB editor, which you can find under packages, SFB editor, right? So, and I literally just now, just before the call, because we cannot download a new one, I was using an old one, actually built one, new one. So you can have a look here in my. So this is just a quick one. I'll just cover quickly if you want to actually build it from script. So basically, you just clone the. What I did here was just clone the GitHub, right? And to go and do the Skillful Builder editor,
Can you,
you.
sorry to interrupt, can you please
Oh, yeah.
increase the size, the font
Yes.
size a bit? Yeah,
People
thank you.
asking, right? Okay. So you download so clone the whole repository, and then after that, you would then have to cd. Well, you can actually do this here. So actually, no, you can actually, okay. Um, okay. So let me just go through if you actually want to actually build this. It's actually not here. Um, and yeah, I wouldn't cover this too much because I want to cover quite a fair bit of other stuff. But what I did just now literally was just go into packages and then yarn install the modules, which is the dependency of Skillful Builder Editor, and then go into SFB Editor and then do another build in the Skillful Builder Editor, which is here. And then that will then allow me, it will actually start this new Skillful Builder session, which is an Electron app that you see down here. So that's how I get to here. It's just 3 or 4 command lines. You can look it up in the GitHub README if you want to. So anyway, so this is one path in which you can start. So you start with the Skillful Builder Editor, and then you go here, and then you can say whatever new project, right? So let's say today we want to start to the office hours project, office hours or something like that, right? And then I'll change this to, let me just do it. So then you just click OK here, right? And it'll start with a basic story.abc. Now all skillful, okay. So the part where it's easy to write, like it's kind of an English thing, is done by using this thing called the ABC files. You see here the ABC files, right?
Yep.
Let me this is not a very good example. So they'll probably get a starter template here. Let's start with another one which is a bit easier. Let's say the tutorial, the example story, adventure. Oh no, tutorial. Let's start tutorial one. Okay.
Well, I think we
Sorry,
can
just
also
just
start
to
with
override this one.
yeah, if you want, we can start with a basic one and then we can build on this. But if you already know that there is a template that maybe it's
Yeah. So this
everybody
is
has
the
some.
template that I use to start normally to learn this stuff because it's a tutorial template, and I think it's perfect for us to actually go. So I think you guys cannot actually see this, right? But I just want to show you the basic of the editor. Then we go into the code, which is a bit bigger on the screen. So bear with me for now. It's
Yeah,
not gonna be
unfortunately,
easy.
we cannot increase
Yeah.
the
Okay.
font of this.
that's
I mean,
that's
not
okay.
from the builder, right? Yeah.
If somebody can do a pull request, please, make sure that we can increase the font size. Now, but the thing here on the left hand side that you see here is the kind of a flow what you can go, right? So on the right hand side is the ABC file, the tutorial. As you can see here, ABC files are grouped into this thing called scenes, right? So just highlight. Sorry, you can't see it for now, but I'll go into deeper where you can actually see it. But ABC files divided into different scenes, and in these scenes you can actually do you can specify a bit more or describe what these scenes are, what to say, what to show, and the business logic that you want to do within the scene. And all these scenes are connected together. You can actually connect it by just using the excuse me, So like here, you see the start scene, and then it goes here, and then it goes to the next scene, which is the learn scene, and so on and so forth. So it jumps between scenes. You can see that they also see highlight it on the right hand side, and then when you're just branching, it actually will show it in this kind of a no, sorry, graph notes that you can see on this left hand side. So a person can it's like almost like voice flow, but not really. I mean, very basic version of voice flow, right? When you can actually go through here. So on the left hand side, that's where you see the map. uh we can cover a bit about slot types a bit later, but
1 second, sorry to interrupt,
sorry, yeah,
GoldZulu. Here,
go ahead.
there is a feedback in the chat saying that there is a bit of a echo. Um, I did some tweaks on my side. Can you let me know
Okay,
if that's fixed? Um, yeah, Maya is
echo
saying,
testing. Can you hear an
is it
echo?
coming from my voice or from? Okay, fixed. Sorry. You can go on.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay, now it's fixed. Yeah, correct. There's no echo now. Okay. So here on the left hand side you can actually see like the assets like trumpet dot mp3. You can actually drag it is inside here, and then it'll convert into something that you can do. Sorry again for the size of it, but in this say kind of paragraph that you see here later on, right? When I drag this inside here, you'll translate it into uh, like a markup language that will then allows you to embed a trumpet sound inside whatever the guy is saying. So it's just like SSML, but you can embed the audio files into the SSML. Then the same that you go here in terms of you can actually if you have some backgrounds that you want to actually put here, you can then put it into the part where you can there's a show portion also where to show the people which is the APL, which again I'll go a bit deeper when we actually can see the text on the right hand side. Then excuse me. So you can also build snippets, right? For people who are so for as a developer, you can get all this prepared for your voice designer, or the let's say the content manager or the people who writes a story, right? So it's good for kind of build your own story, right? Or if you want to build a quiz out of it, also you can use a skillful builder. And really, I think it can go a lot more beyond that, right? But most people know it from because it's a skillful builder. It's more about the flow of a storyline and stuff like that. So as a developer, you can create all these kind of snippets, right? So for instance, this one is an SFX snippets where you put SSML tag because as a non-developer, you do not know how. I just want to know. I want to play an audio file. I don't want to know how or all these markup tags and stuff like that. So you can actually use it to create user-friendly markdown where people can just type SFX and then type whatever SFX they want, and you'll play that in the SSML. So again, all these like pause, whatever. So a lot of people do not want to learn how to use SSML, right? So this is kind of a good thing that is actually there. In fact, all these are come already kind of built in. Some of this stuff, as an example. Of course, you got the notes and stuff like that. And one thing that is about SFB Skillful Builder Editor, it is meant to work. You can use it for solo, which is quite good, right? But you can also use it in a team where you have the designer, right? Or the content manager, whatever, that then is given this SFB editor, right? And then they can pull out the file, and then they can go hack away and type the content as they like, right? And then after that, they save it into GitHub, and then a developer like yourself, maybe, right, can pull this out and then do a build. Okay, let me explain what happens in the next stage when during the build itself. So the ABC file gets translated into a JSON object. So this JSON object. So during the translation, a lot of things happen. Like it has syntax. Syntax checking and to make sure that the scenes that you're referring to is actually available or whatnot. And then it gives an error and it doesn't finish the build if into the JSON file if that happens. But once you convert to JSON files, right? And check this out. the core of SFB editor, of Skillful Builder, sits on top of the Ask SDK. So the Ask SDK, for some of you who do not know, is the kind of the, I don't know how to explain this.
The
Gaetano.
development kit, so
Yeah,
the tool that you might use to build your own skills.
yeah, yeah,
I have a question on this, Zulu. So
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
is it a correct analogy to do that as that those points, those nodes in the graph here would eventually represent an intent of the skill, or not?
Correct, correct. Let me. Okay, there's a good segue into it. So let me again go into the code itself on the right, the ABC file. Then I can
Okay.
explain a bit how that translation actually make, because to for the build cycle as well. So let me go into my. I think we can go into my editor here, and then documents, and then so what was it called? Office hours.
Yes, office
No,
hours.
okay. I think go into documents here.
Yeah, there is an I. It's doc. Yeah,
I can type.
no worries. It happens to me as well.
Office hours too. What is that? Office hours. I think I got fat fingers today because it's cold. Okay, so again, I will show you the structure of the whole thing, right? So let me pull up Visual Studio Code now. Woohoo! So back into known territory. Okay, so this is my Visual Studio Code. Of course, I trust. Okay. So you can see here on the left hand side, okay, when you actually do the SFB editor, when you create a new project, right? Or you can do it from there. Like I said, there's two paths to do it, right? So you download the SFB editor and create a project from there, or you can also do everything from command line. So command line is if I want to show you here, sorry, let me just pull out a bit bigger for you guys to see. So that's command line. So if I want to do command line, I have to do Alexa. What is going on? Alexa SFB, right? And then I type new, and then whatever the things. So let's say office hours three there. So what that will do is it will create a folder called office hours three, right? That's the same thing that you see down here. So I think it by default it will just go into the it will just use the tutorial as a template for it. So you can obviously go and take a look at the help. I'm pretty sure there. And you can do Alexa SFB, and then the options. You can also specify what template you actually want to use. I mean, it's one of these thing down here. So you can actually say what the same thing that we the simulate just now from the SFB editor can be done here. So let me explain the little bit about the folder structure of this thing. So there's a code part and there's a content part. So think of it as this is where all the is it Mongols? I don't know.
Non-tech.
Okay, no, it's not Harry Potter. So the non-tech people actually will be going through. So that's an ABC file that you see just now. As you can see here, it's actually syntax highlighting. And you can do this by building the extension that is in the GitHub repository and then installing it into here as well. I'm pretty sure you can install from npm now as well. I don't know. I haven't been going along that path, but you probably can if you look it up. So here you can see that I have very nice syntax highlighting, and it's also bigger because it's in Git in my Visual Studio Code, right? So the content part is where all the normal non-tech people will be using, and then the code part is where the like I said before, right? Uh, I show you. So just now the each one of these scenes, right? We'll be looking at in terms of the intent. So the like Gaetano said just now, the intent. So the say is the speak part of it, right? And the show is the APL part of it, and the then is the kind of the logic. But if you see here under then, there's this thing called here. My name is player name, call me player name, jump to this particular scenes. So this is where the intent part comes in. And it is also quite interesting because it will map the intent that is known. So like yes will go to the Amazon yes intent, and then I think continue with the resume intent, I think, and move on probably the resume intent as well. So those like no, yes, no intent, the common intent that you see already from normal English text can go into that. And for some of you who wants to go a bit deeper, there's you can also create variables, right, that can slot. These are slots, right, that you can then specify what kind of slot type it is. So like this case is expecting the Amazon US first name slot to be picked up into player name, and this whole thing is an intent with slots. You can see here. Is that clear, Gaetano?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So you are
So
declaring a slot
amazing. Yeah.
and
So
slot
yeah.
type and all the utterances.
Correct, correct. So in amazing because the whole thing is I think a feat of engineering. I would give kudos to the team who actually built this in Amazon Alexa before, and especially I think Ezra. Ezra is a genius for working some of this stuff in building up this conversion from the JSON file that you come out from here into the it'll translate into the Ask SDK format that you're familiar and see, and that get pushed across to the when you do a build, the Ask SDK will do a build. So there's two levels of builds, right? So first it translates this into JSON object and then creates the voice model, which is the intents and the slots, whatever that's down here, right? And then after that, it then pass all this to the Ask SDK, which then the Ask SDK will actually then just create just like any other normal skill that you have worked before. So let me let me show you. So unfortunately for some of you or JavaScript or whatever, the oh sorry, one thing you have to note is using TypeScript in the backend. So I'm really sure you can probably mix, but the core of the Alexa backend as skillful builder is actually using TypeScript. But I think it's for most of the time, for most of use case, I don't think we even need to go into the TypeScript unless you want to hack something additional that you actually want to do, right? So you can just stick to the SB editor and the ABC files. But if you want to go into here, one of the things that is really, really like eye opener for me is when I'm trying to go through into the index.ts here, okay, is the fact that if you can see, some of you, how many of you can see the pattern here? I mean, are familiar with this, right? So basically,
Yeah, it
um,
looks like the response builder of the
yeah,
ASK.
it is a response builder. So the skillful builder is actually just something that handles, is a handler, right? It's a handler extension for the Ask SDK. So so that means this is pretty mind blowing because you can actually mix, right? So because it's a normal response handler, you can you can specify, yeah, what is it that you want it to handle, right? And what it doesn't want to handle, right? And then just override it. So like here can handle, which is always true here, so that means it handle everything, right? So you can override this and you say, hey, I don't want it to handle web API. Hey, I don't want it to handle, certain notification, like disable the skill notification timer. I don't know, those other things that you don't want the skillful builder to actually handle. You can intercept it by saying, okay, that handler, let me just use another handler to actually do it, right? And the other thing that is amazing that I find is that it actually uses DynamoDB persistence adapter on the outset of it. So um, any tutorial that you come across here, sorry, not tutorial, sorry, any ABC file you write, any variable that you actually create here. Let's see a good example of a good variable. You, probably easiest. Okay, let me just write it out. So you say something like So down here, if you want to antidote zero, whatever, right? You say set antidote to one, antidote count to one. Yeah, you can use like this, right? So now I have a key in my DynamoDB that's called antidote, that is can be set to one, and it persists over the thing. So there's no need for you to like, hey, store it into DynamoDB, or keep this into DynamoDB. Everything that you create as a variable here persists over the sessions of the actual player. So it's a persistent adapter, the DynamoDB persistent adapter. Obviously, you can also override it and use whatever Firebase, whatever, as you can see here, whatever persistence adapter they can use here. You just need to make sure that it passes the the way the skillful builder actually expect it, right? So let me go back into tutorial. So yeah,
That's
any
very,
questions? Yeah,
that's quite an eye opener for me. I thought
yeah.
that the skill flow builder would just be useful for a person that would like to maybe create a storytelling skill or something like this
Oh,
without writing any line of code. But it looks like this is like best of both
yeah.
worlds, right?
Yeah, I just literally, right, what I enjoyed is, I mean, I have kids as well, my daughter. So I love working on skillful builder project with my daughter. So my daughter, I just give her the SFB editor, right, and I give
Wow.
her all the snippets for her to drop in different sound effects, right. She just open the SFB editor, start hacking away all these contents. I mean, she thinks a lot, so she writes a lot, and then she pass to me, and then I take over, and then she said, oh, can I have something to count the number of I don't know, the number of movements, so how far I've moved, how many kilometers I've moved from planet Earth or something like that. So then I create the variable. So okay, this is variable you use, and this is what you need to do. So the other thing that is interesting is, okay, all this stuff, right, that you see here. Let me give you an example. One. So I talk about slots. I talk about intent, which is here. So down here, you just say, here, my name is this one, or this one, or this one, and then it will jump. This is the format. So jump to the scene. In fact, you can, I think it has, yeah, I can uh probably can't. There's a shortcut. I can't find that shortcut. You can jump to the scene, and then it goes to the, oh, it actually jumps to the scene already. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
did go. So learn scene, right? So the scene names are with the ampersand in front, right? And then these are the different columns. So the main columns that you need to know is say, which is this SM. You can put SSML inside here. That's fine, right? Or just now, like I said, the snippets, right? Where are the snippets? Where are my snippets? My snippets here somewhere. So remember the trumpet snippets that I said just now, right? So this is a snippet file. It's also a JSON file. If you don't want to go into the skillful builder to build a snippet, you can give uh, to your, I mean, whoever you're working with. So interesting part here is where I want to change my voice, right? So you see here the kit, and then the slash kit, which is the closing tag for the voice. So if I want to go into the tutorial and I want to say in Justin's voice, I'll just do kid and slash kid. That's it. So it'll open and then close it with the Justin's voice, and the whole thing will be said in a very cute way.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
that's
can
how snippets
recognize
look
some
like.
SSML tags in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
previous
yeah.
file.
Yeah. So they just embed that into here. So you keep this clean. So everybody do not need to know too much about SSML, but they can still do this kind of stuff. So I said, so I create different voices for my daughter, Joey, whatever, and then I said, okay, you can use all these different names for the voices if you want to. So that's kind of fun. So the show is the APL part of it, which maybe we'll have some time to go a bit deeper into extensions later on. So then is the logic. So the other thing that is quite important is this thing called, I don't know what is here. Prehend. Okay. So you see here, there's also pause, right? which is the pause scene, we just triggered whenever somebody do a cancel intent or pause intent or stop intent, it will just trigger this particular scene by default. So these are like pre-built scene, like scene that is already kind of as you can see here, there's even ISP. You can actually transact ISP, and I proven this by, in my survive the Gobi Desert. I'm selling water bottles, and people are transacting it using Skillful Builder and buying bottles of water in survive the Gobi Desert. So here, two things. They got this thing called global scenes that you can see here. So prepend is before a scene, go and do this chunk of code, right? And then postpen is just okay. After that, then whatever, just append this towards the end. So in here, in this example, what it's doing is showing an APL screen, right? Which is using the default template, right? Which you can find here. Where's the default template? I'm pretty sure it's that one. Yeah,
Maybe
it's
it's
probably
the
this one.
pager that you have just right below.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, default template. But I thought it would name default. Oh no, it is. Yeah, I could be wrong. I don't know. So anyway, that's where you put your APL templates, right? And then, oh sorry, this is the basic template. Sorry, this is a default template, not that one. It's one level up. Uh, the APL templates here. So you see here, it's called default. So this is the templates, right? And you can modify it, and it's also like it's a kind of a data source and a template all jump together. As you can see in the background, the title and the subtitle coincide with this one: background, title, subtitle. So you can create whatever templates that you want, call it whatever. When you have a chunk of templates down there, they can pass to the people to actually do, right? So to the content designer, whatever you want to do, and then you can just tell them, okay, these are the three things that you need to fill up. Like this guy, like this one, it has the images here and the title and subtitle. So that will then becomes, this will show because it's prepared. It will show before every scene that is actually being shown. And then of course you have this postman, which is just basically appending the help thing. So whenever you want some kind of global kind of thing, global command that you want people to always be able to call, like help or whatever, right? You can actually prepend this inside here. So what it does, let me explain a bit here. The bookmark here is that you can actually, it's just it's just a place where you can actually go and jump into this bookmark again whenever you want to actually recall this bookmark, right? So you see here, it's just another scene that you can go into the bookmark. So basically, it bookmarked that scene just now, and then it jump back into you can jump back into wherever that scene is. It's just a, you can pin that particular scene to come back to afterwards. Um, so that's the interesting thing that I want to share now. Okay, and there is okay, the wealth of it is that you should actually take a look at the if you go to the SFB GitHub and you go into the docs here, right? So all these are documentation, and I it is very well written. Most of the stuff that's actually down here, right? So if you take a look at the skillful builder syntax, that's where you can actually start. Uh, so here again, I show you the main thing. You can also do a reprompt, then all the basic kind of high level stuff. Also recap, okay, which is pretty interesting because when you when you have a scene and the person comes and then you can say out the whole thing, or it can do a recap version because they already visited that scene before. Like for instance, you can explain the first time the person come into a scene, you can say something like, a very long, lengthy kind of description about the scene. But then when they come back, oh, you are now back in the orange room or something like that. So you want a shorter version of the particular thing. So again, all this other stuff you can probably read a bit later, and this is how you actually do custom slots. I wouldn't go into too much detail to custom slot because I want to touch a bit more about extensions.
I have
So if
a
you,
question,
okay, go ahead.
if you don't mind. So before you mentioned that there is, so if you want to store something, the skill flow builder will use DynamoDB, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
My question is, do you need to provision your own AWS resources, or can you maybe
Yes.
deploy this into an Alexa hosted skill or what?
Oh
I'm
yes,
curious
yes.
about
Okay,
this.
that's sort of a bummer, isn't it? Especially the kind of a little bit of a thing going on about yeah. um. So yes, you're right. I should actually highlight it to this to you before getting your hopes so high up. You do have to have an AWS account, although yeah, I think at the moment you do have. If you take a look at the SFP setup instructions, which is where's the setup instructions? Uh, Oop.
I guess you need to connect your account like you would do with the Ask CLI, right? To
Correct, correct. So if you go into the setup page here, the requirement is you do have to have a AWS account to deploy our Lambda function and store the story progress.
make
You need
sense.
DynamoDB permissions, which is there. So now I do not know. I mean, you probably cannot have a skill that does not store anything, right? So
Yeah.
you can possibly, but again, the whole thing is configurable, and for some of you hackers, you can probably maybe I have a look at it. We can possibly twist it so that you can use the hosted skill instead, right?
Okay.
Or just change your that part, the TS file, right, which I show you just now,
Mm-hmm.
and you just replace this with the S3 persistence adapter. And I think that should be the only thing that you need to do to run it on hosted skill. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, the
It
point
probably
is that I know for sure that Alexa hosted skills don't support TypeScript. It's just either JavaScript or Python. I tried myself to deploy a TypeScript skill to my Alexa hosted endpoint, and it just didn't work. So if you
yeah,
can maybe use this with JavaScript, like plain JavaScript, well, Node.js, maybe
yeah.
it could work. But I think TypeScript is a
I
blocker here.
yeah, I don't think it's going to be an issue. I haven't because the whole thing this okay, so the reason why the skillful builder is built on top of the Ask SDK is to not remove any of the current tooling that
Mm-hmm.
allows you to build stuff. And the way that skillful builder deploys to AWS or to anywhere is actually by using the Ask SDK to actually do it. So it actually compiles to something, and then after that it passes it to Ask SDK to actually finish up the build and then deploy it. So yeah, we're probably a bit harder with hosted skill because you have to, uh, because it goes into the GitHub, right? The repository, and they have to do the build. Yeah. So again, we can check and do
Yeah,
this, but
we can check.
yeah,
If
yeah,
the output of this is a Node.js package, then should be
yeah.
fine.
Transpile it to normal JavaScript from transcript TypeScript. Maybe we do have to do a little bit of a manual thing, but it might be maybe there's another stage where we then translate into hosted skill kind of compatible, and then before we deploy it. But then again, that makes it a bit difficult for people who want to start out just using something that is easy, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's stick with the AWS account for now.
Yeah, so it's a kind of a double-edged sword there. Whether
Mm-hmm.
you want to be easy, but then you have to go through so many different things to do using hosted skill. But I'll investigate it a bit, and maybe if I do, then I'll write a blog post on how to actually convert it into hosted skill. That's a good thing actually, for us to actually check out after this offline.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, unfortunately, you do have to have currently that AWS account based on what is being shown there. So you got to have the Ask CLI in install and the Python install, and all this is because of the uh, if you want to actually do the core of it, right? But again, I think if you just want to use the SFP editor, you don't have to do it. You just do it, commit to something, and then ask somebody who actually knows technical stuff, who install all this other stuff, right? And they
Mm.
can actually then do the build stuff. So I did as one caveat is it's a bit harder to deploy on Windows. Uh, I'll have a bit of grief when in installing on Windows 10. uh, so you do need this thing called the Windows build tool, which is down here, which it's a little bit fidgety. But the good news is that I managed to install it because my daughter was using a Windows laptop, and
Okay.
we were able to collaborate. And she used the SFP editor there, and then commit to GitHub, pass to me, and then I build the subsequent build from there. So yeah, sorry to break the bubble,
No
even though
worries.
spent
I
time on you
mean,
there.
something we should have covered anyways.
Okay. So it's coming back to this. I want to cover a bit more. I think still got maybe 5 minutes before Q&A, maybe, hopefully. Um,
Yep.
there is this thing called, so let me go back into the Skillful Builder documentation. Maybe probably easier for you probably to see from there.
Just as a message for the audience, you can ask your own questions even now, and then we can address them as we go. Um,
Okay.
yeah, please.
Let me cover the extension part. I think probably that's a good thing to wrap up with. So again, as I say, you can extend this as much as you can, right? But the main thing that is very powerful is when you then start to build extensions to it. So if you go into the Visual Studio source code here, you can see there's two sample extensions here, right? Sorry, extension loader just loader. So you can write different kind of extensions. So the main one probably you'll be interested to talk about is the instructions extension. The instruction extension is very powerful, and this also blew my mind. You take a look at here. Uh, so this is a sample instruction extension, right? That's already there for you to actually use, and it's actually just pulling out the import from the Alexa SFB. And even if you do not know TypeScript, I think the good thing about TypeScript is everything is already there, typed, so it's easier for you to just use autocomplete and stuff like that to find things. Um, but here, basically you have this thing called pick a random day, which is just a instruction that you can actually call from the ABC tutorial. So anything that you want to do. So let's say some API. Let me just write some. Just one sec. So you can have custom instructions, right? So let me. Where's the then part? Okay, so uh, so let's say you want to call something like I don't know, like Copilot is trying to complete my my whole story for me. You can say something like get HP, right? So get help help command
Prompt.
called get hit points, right? Now one thing you need to do, so you can create a thing called get HP, which is just like well, get pick random whatever, right? The thing that you got to take note is that you cannot assign a variable like this, like calling a function like that. You cannot do something like set HP to get HP. You can't do that, right? But get HP is a function that you can see from like example like pick random number, right? So maybe pick random number is a better analogy for that. Set day to uh pick random. Whoa, GitHub Autopilot to the save. So you can do like something. You can't do something like that because there's no concept of it's a one way when you call something in uh in Skillful Builder, the instructions which you create here is a one way ticket. So you can call, but you cannot see what the results coming back. Well, you can, but in a roundabout way. So the way that you do it is by changing the story state. the storage state is just the basically the key to the variable. So now I would have a variable called random day name. So once I copy random day, I can then have a variable called random day name, which will contain then one of these item that you see down here. So the sky's the limit here. You can do API calls, you can do whatever you want to do, and you can just have inside here, just do some random API call, right? I'll show you a simple one.
So you are not
Okay,
cluttering up the ABC file. That's
correct,
good.
correct. And then simple instruction. Okay, this one is a interesting one. So you see here, can you actually see?
It's a bit. Yeah, can you increase it just a bit?
Huh. Okay. Okay, so this is just get HP. The you actually pass the parameter instruction extension parameter, and then the game state the storage state. Oh, sorry, this is actually equals the, this typo here is equals, and then after that you can then okay the for which is the parameters, right? So I can call with a parameter. The parameter is passed to this extension instruction extension parameter type with param. I can access it from here by this way, and the parameter is called for. And then when you actually return, it is best practice, right? Rather than return that just now that you saw the random day thing, right? It's best that you return it in a variable called result. So then you always have a certain kind of uh, common thing that is a
Naming.
cross
Yeah.
convention, yeah, naming convention. So if not, you will start having so many different random numbers. It's very hard for you to keep track. Random variables, right? So,
Yep.
but if you call something and you know the results called result and you process it right after that, right? That's fine. Unless you want to store it somewhere. But even if you want to store it, I would suggest you still call it result as the something coming back, and then store it into another variable, and then use that variable from then onwards. So I think that's the instruction extensions. There's
Mm-hmm.
also different other extension where you can actually intercept like the import sorry, the when you're trying to process do the bills and stuff like that. So different kind of section you can actually explore and you can read about it into the GitHub repository. So yeah, again,
Yep.
it's a very the concept of extensions is very powerful, and just by using this instruction extension parameters, right? And I would have everything that I need to do to practically build any kind of thing that you are. So one of the extension that you want to have loaded is obviously the monetization one. So you see here, there's the API extension is already loaded for you. The audio player extension, your favorite, Gaetano, the monetization extension is already there. And because it's open source, you can take a look at how all these are being done. And then you can add your own sample custom extension, which is just now what we built here. And then everything just compile into
Okay.
the thing. So yeah, I
We
think
have
that's
a.
about it.
Thank you very much, Zul. We have a few minutes left, and before
Sorry.
addressing some questions, if any, from the chat, I'd like to know how can we then, well, at this point, convert this project into a skill, like deploy, convert, or whatever. Can we do the last step? Is it possible?
Yeah. So the main thing here is
So I
very
mean,
simple.
from
So
the
go back.
ABC file,
Everything is
well, from the folder to an actual skill
correct. So
project.
just now you see just now that I created the office hours tree. Can you see on the
Yep.
screen? Yeah. So you see here, everything is actually in here. Everything is CLI based. In fact, you don't have to touch RCLI at all. Everything can be encapsulated using Alexa SFB, right? So what you do here, you type Alexa SFB, then deploy. That's it. Then they build and deploy storage to developer portal and AWS Lambda. Just one command line thing that will actually do. It will actually do the build and all these other things. They do the clean, the build, whatever. But then it will deploy using that. Or if you want to like deploy using zip, you can just start deploy via zip. It will then create the zip file and pass it to you for you to deploy wherever you want to deploy in your
Oh,
Lambda.
nice. So you
Yeah,
can upload it to Lambda manually through the console, basically.
correct. And if you just change the voice model and stuff like that, you can just deploy through just deploy the metadata. Just like us SDK, I think dash dash
Skill metadata, yeah.
yeah, correct. The same thing. So it's
So that
actually
would
built
deploy
on
just
top of it.
would just deploy the to say the skill metadata, so interaction model and other information, right?
Yeah, yeah, correct, correct. They'll
Okay.
do it's a kind of a long build process because you got to translate the ABC files and everything and whatever and things like that. It's a bit longer than the normal things, but it's just straightforward. As I see just now, the first part is just changing the ABC file into uh they will just change the ABC file into the JSON file, and then after that, if you take a look inside here, you see package. This is part where they compile in the Ask and the dependencies is all here. It's already preloaded for you. You just use the Ask SDK latest one, and this other two is the one that actually does the TypeScript stuff that's included. So like I said just now, I think it's just a normal. I mean, yeah, we have to check the hosted part later on.
Okay. I have just pasted the documentation of the skill flow builder if anyone is interested into taking a look into it. So this session will be stored, so you will find it on Twitch and YouTube. Not sure about LinkedIn because it's the first time that I stream on that destination. But anyways, you will definitely find this recording under the Alexa Developers channel, both on Twitch and YouTube. Yeah, I want to thank you again, GoldZulu, for this
Yeah.
walkthrough. It's been very, very interesting and, as I said, an eye-opener for me. I'll definitely have a look at this for very small projects that I like to build in a faster way. So
Correct.
thank you again. I think we are a bit over time here. Yeah, is there anything else you want to add? Otherwise, we can close the stream and yeah,
No,
enjoy
yeah,
the rest of your day.
I just like to say that if you guys want more of this, just let Gaetano know. I'm happy to jump on another session and maybe doing a bit deeper dive, maybe the full flow of the deployment and everything on either this one or the web API part as well.
Yes,
Happy to do
that's a
that.
good opportunity to remind everyone that we have a Slack channel. So I posted it on the screen here. So it's alexa.design/Slack. If you have any idea or suggestion of what you what we would like to see in those sessions, please feel free to reach out to me as well. And yeah, I can organize this. Thank you everyone again, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.
Okay.